Discovery, roger. Go for deploy.
2, 1,
0.
and liftoff. Liftoff. Americans return to space as Discovery clears the tower.
Welcome, everybody, to the special episode of Toon Talk 2.0. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
So, David, what do we got going on? First of all, for those who don't know, let me introduce everyone. David Firestone from Road to Stardom with David Firestone, Firestone talent manager extraordinaire. Meet Haley.
Right.
I'm not sure where she is in your screen, so I'm going based on mine. Haley, host of the Part of Your Broadway World podcast, and Justin, co-host of the Spur of the Moment podcast, as well as the Final Frontier with yours truly.
Yes. I felt like I was getting dressed up for that today when I got dressed
I
up.
like that.
No,
I like that.
it was odd. It felt
Hard
very.
to see Haley, though. There we go. Okay, cool. Excellent.
Well, Max. I'm sorry, Virus. He doesn't like to be called Max on this program. Virus.
That's his podcast name.
I know it's his podcast name. It's his. I know.
Hey,
He's
as someone who
very
has
sensitive.
a co-host who he doesn't reveal his last name. I get it. Although I do occasionally refer to him by Max accidentally.
Yeah, it's not his last name. It's just literally Max. He's very adamant
right.
about being referred to as Virus. But anyway, he let me know that unfortunately he would be running a little late for tonight's broadcast. He's at the dentist again.
Oh boy.
Oh, poor son.
Oh boy.
But he'll be along shortly. So I'll be blunt. I don't know what his plan was for this, but knowing him, I assume that it's going to be a celebration of the horror genre, which I never get over your experience with seeing Terrifier 3 in theaters, Justin.
Okay. Here's a funny addendum to that story, because I read an article later on that said that the ticket sales for the Wild Robot had been wildly inflated because kids were buying tickets to the Wild Robot and then sneaking into Terrifier 3. Which, on the one hand, I've seen that movie, booyuck, no. But on the other hand, it makes me happy that the kids are going to the movie theaters again. Like, the fact that kids are sneaking into the theaters means that they're buying tickets at the theaters. That is not in and of itself necessarily a bad thing. It is a bad... You get my point.
The movie that they're sneaking in to see is a bad thing, but the fact that they're going...
Exactly. Yeah.
So in a way, you're transitively thanking Terrifier 3 for helping movie theaters?
Here's the I've had a lot of thoughts about that movie franchise, because this past month on our show we did the whole spectrum. We did the family friendly stuff, we did the nasty stuff, we did the ghosty stuff, we did the and the big thing with Terrifier 3 was everyone was upset that Art the Clown killed a kid. And we talked about Hocus Pocus on her show, and I opened that by being like, they kill a kid. So like, it's just, and also the line for those movies is they refuse to show Art the Clown killing a kid, whereas Michael Myers in the newest Halloween movie, the Halloween, the 2018 one, he kills a kid on camera, and it's a very long and uncomfortable scene. So it's
really?
just
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he like there's the saddest and most upsetting death in that movie is this kid who he's out hunting with his dad. And he's telling his dad that he doesn't want to be out hunting. He's like, I don't want to go hunting with you, Dad. I'd much rather be at dance practice. I want to be dancing with my friends. And he's real happy that he's relaying this to his dad, who clearly wants to hunt with him, but it's not his thing. And he's finally standing up to his dad. And then Michael Myers brutally strangles him to death. I cut all the middle stuff.
So this is 2018 Halloween?
Yeah, this is 2018 Halloween, and it's like you see him reach in, and it's like it holds on his face for an uncomfortably long amount of time.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. So thanks for the heads up, I suppose. And thank you, because like I'll be honest, I'm not a big horror guy. So I had seen the first time I had ever seen Art the Clown, the character, was the meme on TikTok. And I'm like, I don't know what this is, but it's funny. And then through you, I learned what the Terrifier franchise was. And now, like, I'm not sure if I want to watch it or not. Like, it's pure morbid curiosity as to just how bad this
It's
could
the only
this could
reason
be.
only reason why I've seen them. But and to be fair, we only watched the third one for SEO. I'm not even gonna lie.
Well, you got it. You definitely
I got it. I got it in spades. But we watched the same reason why we watched Alien in theaters. That's technically horror.
Yeah.
The Alien Romulus. We watched that for SEO. So like,
Yeah,
we
but I
would have
heard that was
otherwise.
quite good.
It is.
I gotta ask the question. Just jumping on here and seeing everybody
Yeah.
here. Are there 2 Star Trekkies on here? We have 2.
There
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
The
yeah,
yellow.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
He's
You do that
captain.
again?
And
Yeah,
then-
that part, right.
I was going for like a witchy kind of vibe. I mean, I used the Wicked palette.
Oh, from
Ah.
Ulta? It's
Nice,
Ulta, right?
nice.
Yep, it's Ulta.
Oh,
Witchy
that's another movie that I keep saying, Haley. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think it's going to be good. I think they're going to ruin it.
I don't know. A lot of people are saying it was really good.
Oh, they've seen it already?
Yeah, some people went to like an early.
Well, the
I
You guys
really-
are
earlier
way on your game. I'm way behind. To get so busy with talent stuff, I don't watch enough movies anymore. It's crazy.
Well,
busy.
Wicked, the film adaptation of the stage show, it's been a long
Right,
time
right,
coming.
right.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised it
that's
took
right.
them this long.
Yeah. Well,
They were
sometimes
little-
making a movie takes a while.
Yeah, they're a little late to
Oh.
jump on that bandwagon.
I was just impressed they didn't try to hide the fact that it was a musical, because that's the thing they do now. They hide the
you
fact that it's a
can't.
musical.
You can't hide them. It's
could've
kind
They
of well,
tried.
did it
though.
with Mean Girls. They did
No.
it with Mean Girls. They
Yeah, but
tried
Mean
to hide
Girls-
it.
but the first Mean Girls wasn't a musical. Here's the thing, because they didn't do that when they did the film adaptation for Les Mis, because everyone knows Les Mis is a musical. Everyone
Yeah.
knows Wicked is a musical. To hide it, like that's beyond stupid to try to do that.
I think the worst one was Wonka. Wonka really
That's-
tried to hide the fact that it was a musical.
Well, yeah.
Hey, look, I always I'm
Timothy
a lover
Chalamet
of
wasn't
musicals.
bad in that movie.
I don't know. I didn't see it. I did not see Wonka. I lost my taste for the Willy Wonka franchise after the Johnny Depp one. I now no longer care. It's Gene Wilder or nothing for me.
It's
There you
better
go.
than that.
There you
Better
go.
than the.
I like the way you're sticking to the
I
classic.
love that. It's Gene
I'm more of
Wilder
a-
and no one.
It's-
I didn't like it. I didn't like the Tim Burton one. I'm a guy where I'm like there's certain characters that don't need a backstory, and he was one of them. Like, I didn't need to know that he had an evil dentist dad. Like, I didn't need to know that. Those are questions I didn't ask.
Yeah, fair enough. I didn't need it. I forgot about that actually, and I don't. Yeah, I didn't need to know that either.
But
Justin,
I'm
you
waiting
Did
for
you
that.
guys see Megalopolis? in
not
the
yet.
theaters?
Which one?
Megalopolis.
I
Francis Ford
want
Coppola.
to. My question for that is, I know there's a bit in it where I'm sorry if this spoils anything for anybody, but there's a bit where the audience gets to interview Adam Driver, and they did it at a number of screenings. And can you not hear me?
No, I'm.
Yes, go ahead. We're
oh.
listening. We're trying to
sorry,
not have a
sorry.
spoiler alert here.
Well,
It's
there's a
spoiler
bit.
alert.
There's a bit. Wait, it's not for the movie, but it's a thing that happens when you go to certain screenings where an audience member
Oh, I
gets to
see.
interview Adam Driver in the movie.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
I was so fascinated by how that works when that thing hits streaming, because I want to see it. I'm a Francis Ford Coppola fan, so I want to
Of
see
course.
it. I hear it's wild.
Right.
It's on my list.
No, I one of our talent went to see it. He said, you shouldn't just walk to the theater, you should run to the theater. But it was still playing here. I'm not sure if it still is anymore in the theaters.
yeah. I know it is here. I'm pretty sure it's still in theaters. I'm in
Yeah,
Canada,
pretty sure it is
so-
here too also, yeah.
Oh, fun fact! This will make you laugh, David. Speaking of still in theaters, when you were on my podcast, I mentioned how there's a new Kate Winslet movie, the World War II
Yes. Right.
flick that I was very excited to come out. It came out last year.
Seriously?
Makes sense.
No way.
I found this out
It's hard
on
to keep
Tuesday.
track with the streaming platforms. You never know when they're going to get a release.
Well,
That
I
happens
didn't.
to me sometimes.
I didn't click. This doesn't make sense to me because I know that because I'd seen the trailer before City of Dreams, which came out this year, and I know that the development for that movie took a long time. Like the distribution of that movie took quite a while. But I suppose I guess they had the trailers preloaded or something. I don't know because that movie was almost a year old when I saw
Wow.
the trailer. So
Well, I think
That
some of the
happens sometimes.
platforms, depending if they're like the Paramount Plus or some of the movie platforms versus the real streaming platforms, are making decisions whether to release it in the theaters, just like Netflix could do, or put it on streaming. I think sometimes they wrestle with that based on the scheduling of these bigger films.
Yeah,
Then
maybe.
last minute they decide to put it on streaming.
There's some
I
times
think
where I'm
Wolves
like,
was originally scheduled for the theaters, and it got moved over to Apple Plus in the streaming section.
that always upsets me because like when it goes to streaming, it means it's not making money, and when it's not making money and it's a good one, you don't get to see a second one. Is what happens a lot of times. Like for Disney, like Disenchanted, I watched that movie and I was like, this thing would have killed in theaters. Like, why did this not go to theaters?
Right. No, it's a crazy business right now with all the different platforms and theaters. What the studios believe will make money in the theaters versus streaming. It's always
that's why
someone just joined Dr. Futuristic. There we go.
What
Fantastic.
what is up, Dr. Fantastic?
It's like
what
a
is
jihadist terrorist or something. There we go.
Actually, I'm Mohammed bin Salman Al Sayed, the richest man in the world.
Ah, okay, cool.
Oh.
He's probably a terrorist as well, though.
Well, yeah, hopefully not.
Who's to say?
if he's got too much money, I can help him with that.
Yeah, I'll take some of it off of his hands.
I can help him with that problem.
Yeah.
Did anyone guess what David Firestone is in this outfit?
I'm like a whatchamacallit? You've got it's a particular kind of mask. I'm
Right.
thinking like the Lone Ranger or a domino mask. You've got a domino mask on, so I'm thinking like maybe the Lone Ranger.
Well, I've got a suit on though too, so it's
Green
not
Hornet. Maybe Green Hornet.
Kato? Are you Kato?
That's a good. People have guessed the Green Hornet. I was more going for resurrecting Tony Stark, but I could get in trouble with Marvel for that. But someone said Bruce Wayne. That's what I was. That's another one. But that
Okay,
I like the Green Hornet one. That was a choice someone gave to me too.
I was getting a Batman vibe, but lack of
Yeah,
cowl. It's like Batman Year One vibes.
Right.
See, Green Hornet feels like kind of like a deep pull for some people. Like
I like the Green Hornet thing.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
It's
the
a
original.
really good.
Yeah, we don't talk about the Seth Rogen adaptation.
This may be an unpopular opinion.
I didn't go. I watched part of that. I couldn't watch the whole thing.
I fell asleep in the theater. I'm not gonna lie. Although I did enjoy Kato in that.
I love Seth Rogen. Seth, I love you. I love you. Okay.
Yeah, I love Seth Rogen. I didn't hate it, but I understand if you're a fan of that franchise, you probably don't love it. There's actually a really good if you're a fan of Kevin Smith, there's a really good run he did in the comics where he wrote it. That's apparently quite good. I've never actually read it. I almost bought it once, but I've never actually read it.
Okay, yeah, he's written quite a few comics that people are unaware of. He writes for comic books quite a bit.
Okay, I didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah. If you're a fan of apparently it's like not quite as campy as the original show, but not quite as bad as the Seth Rogen one.
Well, since we have two Star Trekkies, I'm curious which is Jake and then Spock. Oh, you have the Spock. Yeah.
Technically, I have the.
What's your favorite Star Trek feature films are on the big screen?
Ooh, that's a tough one for me.
Mine's controversial among Trekkies, purist Trekkies, because I've been a Star Trek fan my whole life. Justin's a little new to the game.
I'm a newbie.
The movies, not the TV. The movies.
Yeah.
Do you guys have? You put me on the spot, Jake. Now it's time for you to step up.
I mean, as a classic fan, I got to say Wrath of Khan. Generally speaking,
Wrath of Khan, that is a classic.
But of the newest ones, the 2009 J.J. Abrams film is a close second for me. I think that movie is
the first new Star Trek. Yeah, that one blew me away because he really updated it to the current. I thought it was just fantastic. That opening scene was just blew me away. More than any other Star Trek film, that opening scene just blew me away. The visuals are, and there's and when I say nitpicks, I mean they're so minor that they don't. It's like I'm looking for something to complain about in Star Trek 2009, the J.J. Abrams one. But generally speaking, I thought it did a fantastic job of bringing Star Trek to a new audience without losing the soul, without losing.
What I would say is, as the new audience, I'm very much the guy he's talking about. I'm the mainstream guy who wants to start. My perspective of Star Trek was my history, my background with it is. When I was a kid, my dad used to watch The Next Generation like every night.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I was, and he raised me on like Speed Racer, like Star Wars, all the good shit, Transformers, all the good stuff. And so I was constantly surprised as like a 6-year-old that something that took place in space could be boring. Like that was my thing. It was so painfully boring, and I expected everything in space to be like space lasers and light swords. And so I never liked Star Trek.
Was kind of a slow
yeah.
to it.
Yeah, I love it now. Like doing our show is a great experience. I'm having a great time. But as a kid, I didn't. So, my first Star Trek movie that I ever really liked was First Contact. That one.
Contact.
I really like that movie. But he's right. The first one I genuinely enjoyed as like a movie. But by that point, I was more like I am now, like more of a movie guy. Is the 2009 one. I really like that movie. That to me is like the most the J.J. Abrams one.
Oh, J.J.
That one
stands out to me too.
Yeah.
That's like Star Trek for normies is how I would put it.
I just can't get over Carl Urban as Bones. Just
like having now watched quite a bit of DeForest Kelley, he freaking nails it. Like it's pretty.
Yeah, good. I wouldn't have guessed him on that role, but he really nailed it.
I am a huge Carl Urban fan. Like more and more year after year, I become a bigger and bigger fan of his. Like Judge Dredd, man, he was doing some great jaw acting. With lower face. Like I respect him because what's his face? Sylvester Stallone was like, I need to take the helmet off and reveal my face, which was the thing the character doesn't do. Carl Urban was like, no, I'm gonna wear the mask the whole time. And I think he kind of paved the way for like Deadpool, where most of that movie he doesn't take off the mask. Like so much of superhero movies is like you have to show their face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
well,
and
even when Wade's not wearing the mask, he's still in makeup.
Right?
Like he's still
right.
You can kind of see Ryan Reynolds' face, but
he's not like the Spider-Man movies. For most of the third act, he's not wearing the mask. Put on the mask. Why I showed up.
I'm curious what Haley's favorite genre is in terms of films. Do you have a favorite genre, Haley?
I mean, a film?
Yes.
I'm more okay. So I'm partial to the movie musicals. So
okay. So were you a La La Land fan?
No.
See, to me, that's a controversial pick, Haley, because I thought La La Land
was garbage. That was garbage.
I've heard people. She. To be fair, I want to see. I'm on Team Haley.
It actually won her for about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
For 10 seconds. Yeah, exactly. 10 seconds.
Those were very happy 10 seconds.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I've heard people say they don't like that they don't like the La La Land. So I've heard it. I've never seen it. I would like that's. On my
actually liked it. I it was good. I only because it was a lot actually about Hollywood.
Yeah,
and it really is like that here. So I thought that's what I enjoyed about it.
I take it back. Actually, it wasn't bad. It was. I only liked a couple of the songs. I liked the song "City of Stars."
Yes.
And I like Ryan Gosling, but that's about it.
Yeah. No, you'd have to change your mind about it. I just, from my perspective, because I'm in Hollywood, I'm seeing the whole situation here. It's very much like that here. So that hit me in a big way when I watched the film in terms of that Hollywood insight. It was very real. Very real.
Yeah, I'm the kind of guy. I'm kind of like you in that regard. I love it when movies are about Hollywood. Or about an element. So I really like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood up until the end.
Right.
I like Hugo. I like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood until it becomes Tarantino. Then it stops being fun.
I've actually never seen that movie.
I tried to watch it.
It's good. Actually, it's a very nice ending. Everyone I talked to was really worried about what the endings are going to be like, and then it ended up really great. I mean,
my thing is, it gets really violent out of nowhere. It's otherwise a mostly tame movie. And it's really my favorite. But the thing is, as I get older, I become a nerd about filmmaking. So my favorite stuff is like the long, boring shots of like cars driving in what looks like 1940s Hollywood. Like that's the kind of stuff that I enjoy. Or like faithful recreations.
Like what?
Wolf of Wall Street was really good too.
Oh, Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, that was a classic film. Yes,
that's my favorite Scorsese film.
Yeah, very good.
It's a solid one. I was gonna say something.
I gotta say, my favorite Scorsese is really Casino. That's one of my favorite.
I've never seen it.
You haven't seen Casino? Oh my god!
No, my goal is to have watched all of his movies. I've seen, I think, most of them because I did. You're familiar with Hollywood Guy? You're familiar with AFI's top 100 movies of all time list?
I'd have to look at the list.
But like as a concept, you're familiar with it? No. Oh, well, okay. The American Film Institute has a list of 100 movies that they've determined are the best of all time. And I'm a TikTok guy, so for a series of videos, I watched all 100 of them.
Oh,
and,
you have?
Yeah, and most of Scorsese's films are on it. So I've seen Taxi, I've seen Taxi Driver, I've seen Raging Bull, I've seen Goodfellas.
Yeah.
I didn't love Raging Bull.
It's very intense. It was a little dark. It was very intense.
Yeah. Dark. I really like Goodfellas. I didn't used to love like Italian mob movies, but I discovered a love of it. I was the guy who was like, I didn't care for The Godfather for the longest time.
I used to love Titanic. I used to love that movie too, but I don't anymore. I don't anymore.
You don't anymore. That is a hot take. Even I.
Well, this has been a real fun podcast, everybody. Have a
Where's the kick out button?
Rude.
No, okay, it's fair.
It's not fair, but
no, it's not.
Let her cook. We'll let her cook.
Let me cook. Let me explain myself. The movie's great. I love it, but
it's okay. Dig that hole. What are they gonna do? Save the ship?
The ending, though, like
if Tarantino did it.
Oh no! Like when Jack dies, like have you heard like the controversy of like, oh Jack could have fit in that door?
Yeah, Mythbusters tested it. He absolutely could have.
And he could have.
There's a Mythbusters episode where they literally test it, and then they go to James Cameron.
So fun fact. Fun fact. I actually have a test that it's kind of exclusive to if you date women. This is a test. If you're starting to date a woman, you ask her this question. This is very important. This is decide if she's for you or not. You ask her, I call it the Titanic dilemma. So it's true. Jack dies in that movie because of Rose, but it's not because of the door. It's because you ask her this question. You say, hey, if we're on a sinking ship and you're on a lifeboat and they're lowering you down, do you stay on the lifeboat or do you jump off to be with me?
That's a hell of a question.
The correct answer is stay on the damn boat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So you say get out of the lifeboat, back on the boat?
No, you stay on the lifeboat. If you're on the lifeboat, you stay. You stay on the lifeboat. Because when you get off the lifeboat,
you're asking your
your perspective.
She says stay on the lifeboat versus coming in the water with you. I got you.
Exactly,
right.
because
that means, wouldn't want them to risk your life.
Wouldn't that mean true love though? Wouldn't that really mean you really love that person?
Yes, because that means when I find the door, it's my door.
Oh my god!
Okay.
Yeah, you're being a little selfish.
I understand. Okay, that makes sense. That's excellent barometer. Yeah, it's better for if she stayed in the boat, it would have been better for everyone. It really would have been, wouldn't it?
That's actually true, because if that had happened, he could still be alive too.
We did on Average Intelligence podcast. This all started because I had that kind of random thought, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, she did kill him. We did a deep dive on Titanic. It's like 2.5 hours of me pointing out, but I noticed in Titanic, it's something that's very easy to overlook, but the wardrobe in that movie, not only is it fantastic, but Rose's color scheme throughout the movie means different things as you go. There's no wasted motion in the wardrobing. None.
Yeah.
That's when I found you. That's when I found you, and that's when I became friends. And
that's when Max found me. That's when Max found me on TikTok. Was the Titanic videos? Yep.
That's funny. See, for us, it's Power Rangers. That's where we started.
That's right. That's right.
Extension.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys know that Jaime Saban owned the Power Rangers for a while?
I absolutely know that.
Yep.
You did know that. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, Justin, you'll have to remind me, what was the show he did, or was it the show or the opening theme he did for Fox? And the caveat was, I'll do this, but you have to let me put Power Rangers on. What show was that?
Oh boy.
No, I know this. I'm just drawing a blank.
Maybe what did he do? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Fox. Yeah, he was a big guy with Fox. It might have been Digimon. I'm
No,
not
no,
sure.
I think was it. No, I think it was the opening thing for X-Men the animated series or something. It was
Oh, it
something.
was an opening theme he was gonna give up
Yeah,
to do Power Rangers. Oh.
Well,
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me it was X-Men
I
around
cannot
that
remember
era.
for the life of me. Somebody in the comments
Yeah,
will be like, "Well, actually, it was this show in
I actually
1992."
don't know.
that's
Chaim
very
Saban.
good.
Chaim Saban was a hey, look, man. He was a shrewd businessman, but he was a shrewd businessman. But he he was a genius and ahead of his time.
Yeah, he was. He knew how to play the
he
money game. That's for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure. There's a lot of times though when you watch the Japan side of it where you're like, I can't believe he couldn't make this stick again. Like, because he tried. He tried multiple times to make Power Rangers happen again with
Right.
multiple different shows, and none of them went past like 2 seasons. Power Rangers, for whatever reason, has just stuck around for decades. It's
It
incredible.
did.
I just think
just
it
wouldn't
was
go away.
it was the right place, right time with the right
Yeah,
appetite for that kind of thing. It was still
sure.
cheesy. It was still cheesy, but I mean, compared to what the kids, because I'm right in that demographic. Like I was five
Oh,
years
me
old when
too.
that show premiered, so I
Yeah.
was right. I was right
I
in
was a
line. I remember it.
Halloween. I was a white Power Ranger
Really?
for Halloween one year. So
Oh, I
like,
mean, dude, between
yeah.
Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles, that was me for like a solid
Oh,
five
the best
years, like
episode
in
of
a
Power
row.
Rangers. The
No, it
best
is
episode
not.
of
Don't
Power
you dare
Rangers.
say that. Don't you dare say
It
what I
is.
think
It
you're
is
going to say. It is
absolutely when the
not.
Power
No, it is
Rangers and the
not.
Teenage Mutant Turtles
No, it is
team up.
not.
It's amazing. It's
No,
so
it's
bad.
not.
It's amazing.
No, it is not.
No.
That is
I
no.
will say,
So for one Halloween, my son played an X-Men character. Which character do you think it might have been? He was
I
6
mean,
years. You're right, 6 or 7 years, 5 or 6 years old, and he played a Wolverine character. No, I just
what
said it.
I was
I was
gonna
I
say
was
Wolverine,
gonna
but I was
guess
gonna give him the
that. I was
benefit of
gonna
the
guess
doubt and go for
that.
Cyclops.
I was
Wow,
gonna
he's
I was
so
literally
cute.
yeah. I was
I was gonna
literally
guess
gonna
that.
Everyone was
say
wearing a Wolverine costume. It was crazy, man.
Wolverine. I
oh,
was
and they're
about to say
going to
Wolverine.
again. They're going to
Yeah.
again after Deadpool and Wolverine.
That's probably
Swings.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
that yellow costume with the blue, and he had little plastic.
I can't believe they made it work for that movie because I was like, how are they going to pull it?
That
Because
was
like
great.
I know why they didn't do the yellow outfit prior to this. I know why. Because how are you going to do that and not have it look like
You have to
ridiculous?
you have
Yeah,
to
it
just
could be.
treat it like it's ridiculous, or like to do it 100% seriously, which that movie kind of did both.
Well, the secret is you let Hugh Jackman show his shoulders.
That also
That's the
helps.
secret.
Also helps.
Do you
That
guys
was-
always like the way they did the new Captain America? I mean, I love Captain America, but I always thought you liked the costume he wore in the films, because the comic book costume
Oh.
was totally different from the film costume. I think.
You're referring to the
Yes.
Chris Evans.
Yes.
Yes, Chris
adaptation.
Evans.
Okay.
Correct. Chris Evans. Correct. Thank you.
I think that's as good as you could have done it, honestly, considering.
I mean, they did
Really. But
technically
he did
have the
wear the
original
costume in the
He did.
promotional part of the film.
He did.
He did
Yeah.
wear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did wear it. Yeah. I
almost
understand
felt-
it in the first one because it's more functional for the era, like for it being a thing he would wear during World War II.
Make
Like
it a
I
real
understand
thing.
it. Yeah, like I understand it from that perspective, but no, man, my co-host Jordan will attest. I am a hater of deviations from costumes.
Yeah,
So, like
I think that's why it was that way in the comic book, right?
yeah, I can't stand any of the Marvel Spider-Man costumes. I hate all of them. I
Really?
cannot except for the very last one because it's the only one that looks fucking right.
I was just
hate
about to ask
all
you.
of them.
I was about to ask you how you felt about the costume at the end of No Way Home. I was like, because that's
That's it.
that's
That's it.
Spider-Man.
And my dream for the next movie is he doesn't take off the mask the whole movie and we never see Tom Holland's face. Like
That's never gonna
it'll never happen. It'll never happen, but that's my dream. Or he like there's no Peter Parker stuff. They don't introduce a new love interest. It's a Daredevil Spider-Man team up movie and he takes off the mask intermediately. Like that's my dream.
See, but that's
Cool.
kind of all the Marvel characters, though. The fact that Peter Parker is Spider-Man is integral to the character, more so than any other Marvel superhero.
Yeah, but see, I grew up reading single issue Spider-Man comics where Peter Parker shit was like 1 or 2 frames at the beginning of the comic, and not there. It was like he was like, "Hey, Mary Jane, how's it going?" And the next thing you know, he's solving a bank robbery. That's why Homecoming's my favorite Spider-Man movie because that movie is just simple.
Homecoming
Simple.
grew on me. Literally, Homecoming. Literally, because I hated it when it first came out. I was
I
like,
did.
"This isn't."
I didn't even watch the whole film. That's why I was
Well,
saying.
and I think it's actually due mostly in part to No Way Home because I hated Homecoming. I kind of tolerated Far From Home, but I'll tell you what and this is no bearing whatsoever on Zendaya. It's the character.
No,
I
no, of course not.
I hated the MJ character until No Way Home. And then
I
I'm not
see.
gonna say I don't love the MJ character, but she was much more tolerable in that movie compared to the first two. Because in Homecoming and Far From Home especially, I'm like, why does he even like her? Because
Interesting.
Okay.
she's so
But
like cold and doesn't
if
seem
you'll
pleasant
allow
to be
me,
around.
I would like to explain what
What do
Wow.
I
you think,
believe.
Kelly? We have a woman person can make a comment on that. Did you watch the Spider-Man?
I think she was about to actually.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I
Sorry.
was I'm gonna I just want to say, wow, your hatred for
Not
Zendaya.
Zendaya. Not Zendaya. Zendaya is wonderful. I'm a Zendaya fan.
Okay.
I'm talking about MJ the character, and actually it's a testament because she was supposed to play her that way. The character was obviously written that way. It's not like
Yeah.
Zendaya
Yeah.
went in. It's not like Zendaya came in and was like, "I'm going to turn this character into a frigid bitch." No, she
No,
was
she's frustratingly quirky, as what I will say. I didn't love
Just
that
frustratingly
she
quirky.
became.
Euphoria to the max.
I've always wanted that show's on my list of things I need to watch.
it's good. It's good. It's how do I put this lightly?
Sexy.
Yeah. It's raunchy and
I've seen clips of it on TikTok, and I'm like, ooh, this looks intriguing. My thing with Zendaya in the Spider, I hated when she became Mary Jane. I didn't mind her when she was just Michelle in the first movie. I hated when she became Mary Jane.
Wait, when did she become Mary Jane?
She's technically supposed to be. She's Mary Jane at the end of
yeah.
at the end of the second one. I think they're like, oh, I go by my actual name, or maybe it's the end of the first one where they're
No,
like,
no,
oh,
her actual name is Michelle Jones.
is it okay? But
Yeah.
she's supposed to be this
Yeah,
universe's MJ, though.
she's supposed to be
Yeah.
MJ.
When she became MJ, when she wasn't just Michelle, when she was just Michelle in the first one, she wasn't MJ. I didn't hate her so much then. The second one where she's now MJ and she's now their relationship comes out of nowhere between the first and second movie.
It really does. It really does.
Like
Maybe that's why I didn't like her.
But
think
I would
about it
like
this
to
way.
I would like to make my case for why I believe it is Homecoming is objectively the best Spider-Man movie. Because, and this is why I will make the case.
It's like
I
Not
believe, except for with maybe the possible exception of the first Raimi one, because I believe all of the Spider-Man movies are too high stakes for that character. Spider-Man is a low to the ground, low stakes character, and Homecoming is the lowest stake. Like, to me, that movie understands Spider-Man in a way that the Raimi movies never did.
You know, except for that whole, Stark Industries suit.
Except I will acknowledge I hate the suit.
That was cool though. That was cool.
It was cool, but it's
and
very
a lot of gizmos on it.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty fun. But to me,
and that was Endgame where you had that suit, right? Or that was you had the
suit
before that.
He had a suit pretty well from the beginning.
He had the metal space suit in Endgame.
Yeah.
Or Infinity War. Anyway, it's
Infinity Wars, yeah, whatever
Infinity
that. There was quite a few there at the end there. So
but to me, the two best scenes, Spider-Man scenes, my favorite Spider-Man scenes, maybe better phrased, is the one where it's just him hanging out, just wearing the costume, because Tobey Maguire never did that, and him stopping the bank robbery.
Where they're dressed as the Avengers.
Yeah, and he's like, hey, you're not the real Avengers. I could tell. Hulk gives it away. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, that is Spider-Man. That is what Spider-Man does. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man never did that. Ever.
Oh, yeah.
Ever.
Haley, he left the costume on when he was like being casual about it.
Yeah, quipping, like being jokey. He does like one joke in the first one where it's like, you're out, Gobby, out of your mind. It's kind of, like, he's way funnier if you've ever played the games. He's got some objectively funny jokes in the games.
Yeah. Haley, you were about to say something though before I rebut Justin's argument.
All right. Well, I was gonna say, but thinking about it this way, Tom Holland and Zendaya wouldn't be together had she not been in that movie.
I mean, fair enough, but
I have that power couple.
This sounds a little catty, and I don't mean it to be, but it's like I'm not so invested. Okay, I'm gonna walk that back because I realize it doesn't matter.
Walk it back.
No. I'm just saying, like the relationship of Tom Holland and Zendaya has no bearing whatsoever on my life. So, like, I mean, when I say I don't care, I just mean is inconsequential to me. Good for them, great,
It's like big deal. Another Spider-Man actor's dating a romantic love interest.
Gorgeous, talented woman. Oh god,
no.
All the press.
Zendaya. What do you guys think of Zendaya in Dune? I really like the first Dune. I haven't seen the second one. I love it. I'm a Dune fan.
The second one's even better.
Is it even better? Tell me anything about it. No spoilers. I gotta watch that.
I couldn't spoil it if I wanted to, because if I tried to explain it, I would fail miserably.
I've never
I
seen
love the first
Dune.
one. It's very good.
It's
very different from the original, but it was very good.
If you like the first one, you will love the second one.
Cool. Can I ask, have you read the books?
No.
I need to.
Yes, I read the books. Okay.
That's why I think the first one was more real, because to me it was more like the book.
Okay. So here's my perspective. My perspective as someone who has never read the books or is otherwise not familiar with this franchise. When I watched it, it felt like I missed a movie. Like, it felt like I was missing something. It felt like I was confused. I was like, I feel like there's background here that I'm gonna have to like Google or Wikipedia later to fully
This was
understand.
The first film or the second film?
This was the first one. I haven't seen the second one. I would like to see the second one because I've heard it's better than the first one.
I think the original was closer to the book, actually, but
that's interesting. I've not heard someone say that before.
It was significantly shorter, though, correct? Because I've not seen it in its entirety. Yeah.
That's
so we cover a lot of ground.
Right? Yeah. So this will illustrate how much I love the new Dune franchise. When I was on a cruise last year.
Good.
It's so good. But they had one of the decks, they would show movies every night, and one night they were showing Dune 2, and I told my entire family, I said, I'm going here, leave me alone. I don't care about the other stuff on the cruise ship for this 3-hour window. I will be here. I will not be reachable.
You come find me if you want.
I said you're all invited, but you will be quiet. Because I don't want to have to explain this movie to you. So if you have not seen Dune Part 1, you are uninvited. And no one had seen Dune Part 1, so
that's fun. Yeah, that's on my list.
Okay.
Yeah, but in this lull and women, I have a little bit of a clock going on today, so I'm gonna have to sign off and wish you all a happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, Mr. Firestone.
Where are you? So you're in the are you all Jake, you're in the Midwest, right? And
I and Haley are in the Midwest. Justin is in Vancouver.
Okay, Vancouver. So you're on my time zone. So we're still waiting for the little ones to come out, but you probably have it coming out pretty soon, right now, right?
Pretty quickly, yeah. We have a bunch of little ones around my apartment.
Nice.
Turn off my lights to be disinviting.
Great
I was going to say I've turned off my lights too.
Great meeting you, Haley, and Spock.
Great meeting you as well.
Hopefully we'll see you again in the near future. Thank you, Jake.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Bye-bye.
All righty. So here's why you're wrong. Everybody sleeps on the first. Now, before I say this, the second one is dog shit. I will admit that. But the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
Okay, look. Okay, I love elements of that movie. I don't love them. Now, as a person who is a purist on costume, I fucking hate the costume. I hate it with every fiber of my being. The best live action Spider-Man costume is probably in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I will give you that with the oversized eyes, which actually from a practical standpoint makes sense because of how those what would you call those? I guess the eyes of the costume work.
Yeah.
If they're too small, they're not functional.
It helps that Andrew Garfield was so animated when he was in it.
So that's the other thing in terms of pure acting. Andrew Garfield, and I don't think any of them were bad, but in terms of pure acting, Andrew Garfield in the suit is the best actor by far because this is a guy who can communicate emotion when you can't see his face. The only thing he has is his body, and he uses it, and you know exactly what he's thinking, what he's feeling, what's going on, and he's wearing a mask.
Yeah, I'm Toby. Whenever everyone's like Toby's the best, he doesn't do good shit as Spider-Man. All the good shit
Agreed.
he does as Spider-Man is all CGI. It's just he doesn't do anything good. Like, but if you have you played, I can't imagine either of you have played the games, the movie games.
Well, which
It,
one? The one for like the GameCube back in early
the
2000s?
I think there was one for the GameCube. I'm talking like I played them on PS2.
Yeah, yeah, but the same game. The where
The
if you
movie
put in the
games.
yeah, yeah, where if you put in the cheat code, you can get Harry Osborn as Green Goblin and as a playable
Yeah, and he's got
character.
his own story. Yeah,
Love that game. It's
yeah.
so
That
much
like
fun.
there's so many. Tobey Maguire's got so many great Spider-Man jokes in that. Like he quips so. That's why I'm like those movies were badly written for him because he gets all the good quips in the like. I mean, what are you? The Emerald Elf is always going to be one of my favorites.
Yeah,
There's a
that's
lot of
good.
great ones in the second one as well when he's fighting Mysterio. And yeah, Bruce Campbell is the narrator. Excellent, excellent game. But yeah, he
Pardon
just in the
me.
movies
Pardon me for
doesn't
one
get anything
moment.
good.
I have to I'm not eating my dinner right now, but it's arrived and I have to go retrieve it before some trick or treater thinks it's for them.
Fair, fair.
Oh, and my favorite. Yeah, here I love the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a scene, and I can't remember if it's Homecoming or what, I or what or what, but like there's a scene where like Zendaya she finds out that like who is Spider-Man, and like he and like she's trying to get him to like do stuff, and she's like kept like throwing bread at him.
Oh yeah. That's No Way Home. He's like,
Yeah,
yeah, he's
No
like,
Way Home.
does it? It's the tingle thing. It doesn't work for
It
Brett.
doesn't work, and then she's like, all right, sticks, and then like he like sticks to the ceiling, and but yeah, she's still throwing the bread at him. He's like,
Yeah.
she's like,
Please stop throwing bread on
crawl
me.
around.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna. I'm not. Yeah, that was No Way Home. That
Yeah,
that one was fun.
yeah.
That was a whole pop culture moment, man. Like
Mm.
of like, did you get to watch it opening weekend? Like
No.
oh man, me and Jordan, we went to an opening weekend and we watched it in. We have a thing called VIP, but even then, it was still like when and the movie builds in for these moments, but when Andrew Garfield pops and he rips off the mask, like my theater cheered. It was like ah, yeah, like it went crazy. And just like not knowing that those guys were gonna be in it and whether or not they were gonna be in it, and there was like months and months of speculation, and that was when I started doing this, not this, but the TikTok
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And so it was a lot of game of like Andrew Garfield being like pretending he wasn't going to be in it, and yeah, it was a whole thing.
I just kept yelling at the screen though, like, you're wasting bread.
Stop wasting the bread. No, not your back, Jake. You were podcasting during the height of the No Way Home hullabaloo, right? Yeah. So
Mhm.
did you guys do shows on like speculation and rumors and all that jazz?
No, I'm sorry. No, we did a No Way Home review, but where we really did a lot of speculation was after the or before and after the release of Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay, because I was just saying I when you know the whole like Andrew Garfield being like I'm not the werewolf.
Yeah.
Have you seen that clip? Yeah.
Mhm.
When I saw that interview, that was when I knew he was in the
I
movie.
knew he was in it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's when I
because
knew.
okay, Haley, have you ever played? Obviously, you've then played werewolf. You know where I'm going with this. Haley, have you ever played werewolf? No, Jake, can you explain to Haley what werewolf is?
Okay, so I hope I'm explaining this right because we didn't play Werewolf. It wasn't called Werewolf, but it essentially was Werewolf. So it's a game where um everybody basically it does do they start out with one or two? I can't remember.
Depending on how you can, I think you can do one of either.
You tell you what, you'll probably explain it better than I can because I'm horrible at explaining things, but I've played a game similar before.
Fair enough. Basically, it's like a trader style game where it's a group of people, and one of you is the werewolf. You close your eyes, you go to sleep at night, and when you're the werewolf, there's various other roles. But the idea is basically that you need to, amongst the group of people, through discussion, figure out who the werewolf is. And if 9 times out of 10, unless the person's a really good liar, the minute they go, or if you've ever played Secret Hitler, similar idea, where it's like It's a game about pretending that you're not the bad guy, basically. And so the minute someone goes, "I'm the werewolf," you pretty instantly know that they're the werewolf unless they're a really good liar. Like at least any time I've ever played a game like that, where they go, "I'm not the werewolf, I'm not the werewolf," that's when you know they're the werewolf. So the minute he said he wasn't the werewolf,
I think that was a very I think that was a very clever response of him letting people know that he was in fact in the movie without coming out and saying I'm in the movie.
That was just such a crazy, like, that was when I was saying to Haley that I first began my TikTok kind of, that's when I started doing the talking about stuff on TikTok. And a big part of that was like, Toby, me and Jordan here just before we were podcasting in the apartment, we called that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were going to be in it like a year ago. Like we had this whole theory worked out. Like that was pretty much exactly what happened. And so when they showed up, our mind was blown because we were like, it was like that Cooler clip. We were like, we fucking called it.
The closer it got to the release, though, it became clearer and clearer to me that they have to be in it, otherwise the people will riot and boycott Marvel forever.
Yeah. Well, apparently initially the reason why the marketing sort of became clear that they were in it was because a bunch of stuff leaked to it and they had to respond. Apparently, initially they were going to market it as a Doctor Strange versus Spider-Man movie.
I remember reading that, yeah. Then Tom
But
Holland opened his mouth.
Yeah, that was, well, for a lot of people it was the trailer when you can clearly see that a Spider-Man had been edited out.
Yeah.
Again, that was
you just see the lizard get kicked back by nothing.
Yeah, like clearly there's a Spider-Man there. But that was a real watershed. I don't want to use this phrase correctly. Watershed moment for like,
it's like, hey, that footprint in the lizard's face sure looks like Andrew Garfield.
It sure looks like a boot. But that was like a major pop culture moment. Like it really. It kind of like, to me, it's what bothers me when Shang-Chi doesn't get enough respect, because Shang-Chi effectively saved the movie theaters, because the reason why they put Homecoming in theaters, they were going to put Homecoming straight to Disney Plus, but they took a chance. They're like, oh, we'll put Shang-Chi in theaters over Labor Day weekend. We'll see if it does okay. And if it does okay, we'll base what happens with Spider-Man Homecoming based on that. And then Homecoming made like $1 bajillion.
Are you talking about Homecoming or No Way Home?
Or No Way Home, I mean. So Shang-Chi made a shit ton of money, and then that caused them to put faith in the release, which then, because at that point it was still gonna be day and date, which was killing movie theaters.
See, I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. I think that would have been colossally stupid. And Wonder Woman 1984 proved that for Max, because I'll be honest, I think if that movie had been in theaters, it probably would have made a lot of money, at least in the opening weekend, because the first one was so well received.
Did it go to theaters though? Was that day and date?
Nope. No, that was straight to streaming. And ooh boy.
As the Godzilla boys, yeah, Godzilla, it's a miracle that Godzilla X Kong exists, because Godzilla versus Kong was day and date, and it still made a shit ton of money despite that. That's why The Matrix bombed. It's like one of the most pirated movies of all time because it went straight to streaming.
Well, and it's what's an even bigger miracle that Godzilla -1 made it to American theaters and won an Oscar, damn it.
Hell yeah, my boy got his Oscar. He deserves it.
Well, and I thought it was better because I predicted that it was going to win the Oscar for Best Foreign Film, but it was even better than I imagined because they won for VFX, and I'm like, this is beautiful. Suck it, Hollywood.
Suck it, Hollywood. Balking at the Hollywood system.
Yeah. That movie cost $15 million and looks like that.
Right. Well, I
explain the Flash.
Explain. Well, the Flash, you see, sat in development hell, and then their star did a big kidnapping, and that whole thing. I wouldn't know. I didn't pay for that movie. We used free tickets to watch it. I didn't spend a red letter cent on it.
Sorry, my cat was trying to steal my dinner.
Oh. I watched. I wouldn't know. I didn't pay for that movie. I watched with free tickets.
Oh, I did.
Purely for content.
I did, knowing full well because I do this. I knew full well I was going to hate that movie, but I had to see it so that I could shit on it and know that what I was talking about, not be like, well, I read on IGN. that they were poor visual effects. It's like, no, I saw them. I saw them all.
You know what's really funny? You know how everything that's happened to Ezra Miller and how immediately after that movie got put out, they were immediately like, they're not the Flash anymore. Someone yelled at me once for incorrectly pronouncing them. And I was like, oh, they're not gonna be like, oh yeah, we're dumping him while they're trying to promote a movie. Actually, no, I tried to guess how they were gonna promote the movie. I'm like, what are they gonna do? Parade out Michael Keaton and pretend it's a Batman movie? And that's exactly what they did. They wouldn't let him do a single interview. And they hid them the whole promotional campaign. But yeah, I spent a year prior to that movie being like, I'm not going to spend money on it because Ezra Miller is a criminal.
Ezra Miller is awful. Anyway, Haley, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I never really got your full opinion on the controversy of the redesign of the Wicked poster that was posted to Reddit.
Oh yeah, I'm so curious what you think about that.
And the horrid response that from and
wasn't it?
I can't. I always forget her name because I didn't know who she was until Wicked. What's the actress's name again?
Cynthia Erivo.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Her reaction to said Reddit post.
Yeah. What's your reaction to that?
What is your reaction to that?
I think I honestly think she's blowing it a little bit of proportion.
Okay, good. We're on the same page then, because it felt over. Yeah,
It
Jordan actually brought it up remarkably, and I said he was like, yeah, it seems like it's like a real overreaction.
More than a little, because I would see her. I guess I can understand where she's coming from, except for the fact that that's what the original poster looked like, and they actually, when they designed that original, theater poster for Broadway, they actually did a lot of research and psychology in the design of that poster. There's a reason. It was very deliberate design. And I'm not going to lie, and this is not a slight against her. It's just it's actually more of a slight of the design team. The poster is boring by comparison because we're not supposed to see Elphaba's face. She's in on the joke. We're not.
Yeah.
So her just staring blankly into the abyss. And this is why I think the film is going to fail, because I think instead of Elphaba being a character who, like, yes, Elphaba experiences discrimination, but some of it she does bring on herself. And this is a central theme in the play that, like, yes, Elphaba is unfairly discriminated against, but she does not help herself. She's not exactly an open personality until she and Glinda eventually, develop a friendship. But Elphaba as a person is very shut off, you know, and I think this movie is going to go full like Elphaba's a victim, and she's a totally nice person, and she doesn't deserve any of this. She doesn't deserve anything.
It's 2024.
I know why they're going with that. But you said it, not me. You said it, not me.
I mean, the writing's on the wall, man. I don't know.
Yeah, like you said it, not me. Like it's one step away from her having a tear coming down her face in the poster.
Yeah, but also like, okay, my gripe is that it was fan made. Like that's, to be fair, I think she's come out and been like, yeah, I was out of line, but still, like,
I guess my
fan made. Let the fans do what they want.
I guess my point would have been, though, if the original poster hadn't been that way, I could maybe see being insulted. But at the same time, dry your eyes with all that money,
right,
my friend.
Right.
You're playing Elphaba in the Wicked movie. I think you'll be fine after somebody redesigned a poster on Reddit.
Yeah.
And it was probably a kid who wanted to be like, I love this so much. This is my contribution to the fandom, and to be, sort of derided. Which, did they ever find out who actually did the design? Last I had heard, they didn't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think they did. So there's probably some poor fan who was just like, I just wanted to show my love of this thing that I like and probably grew up with. And instead is, being called, a horrible person.
Yeah, well, last I had heard she'd come out and been like, would you say her name was Cynthia
Erivo?
Yeah, she came out and apologized, basically, said she went too far. Well, it's some variation of that anyway, by the looks of it.
I also want to bring up too, because since we're talking about things like that like people made about Wicked, I wanted to share the thing. I think I sent it to you, Jake, about that. Like I sent it to you, and I told you to look at my comment where
I d-
where uh, this guy was just like shitting on Cynthia Erivo about how she's like um playing Elphaba.
I mean, okay. Here's
On
the
what?
here. Well, that's the funny thing about that video is I asked Haley. I'm like, am I missing something? I don't understand what he's trying to say. Like, it feels like he's being racist, but he's also calling people racist. I don't understand what he's trying to say. But I and this sounds really bad. And again, it might be the character. Although after that Reddit post, I think it might be the person coming out. When I saw the trailer, I was like, I don't know why I don't like this casting, but I don't like this casting. I can't put my finger on why I don't like this casting, but I don't like this
I
casting.
Okay. Here's what I will say about the casting. I'm gonna try to do this as delicately as I can. My understanding of this play and this book is that Elphaba, yeah, that's the green one, right? I'm getting the names right.
Yep.
Yeah, it is a metaphor for racism.
I mean, yeah, in the context,
Allegory for racism.
no, you know
Like
what? No, I would disagree with that. I think Alphaba is
then
a
everyone treat
meta.
her bad because she's green skinned.
Mhm. Okay, so here again, this is just my perspective, right? Um, I think I think the metaphor is broader than just racism. I think Alphaba is a metaphor for marginalization of any kind,
Okay,
whether that be racism, sexism, sexual orientation discrimination,
so
or having
Yeah.
12 toes. I think it could
fair
be.
enough.
And
I
the
guess
thing
my
of it
point.
is, and I'm sorry not to cut you off, but I think the reason that racism isn't like the blanket metaphor for Alphaba is because she's the only green person in the story.
Okay,
So
okay, okay, okay,
it's not so much discrimination against groups. The story's about discrimination against an individual based
okay.
on some sort of rare secondary trait because
Yeah.
everybody at some point in their life has felt like I'm the only, which I mean, we're wrong, but everybody at some point in their life, usually when they're a teenager, is like, I'm the only person that feels this way. So I'm going to get a group
Fair.
of friends that all feel the same way and we all dress the same. And we're just going to
Yeah.
wallow and be like, the world just doesn't understand us, man.
Why'd you just turn into a surfer dude with that?
I was just say Keanu. Like you said, Keanu came out there. Whoa,
Really?
dude.
That's supposed to be my goth impression. Wow.
Oh yeah, they did come out a little surfer. But
Miss the mark.
my point was gonna be though and I'm not saying this is true, but perhaps casting a person of color where with the metaphor is about social discrimination is like a hat on a hat, maybe.
See, and here, and I feel bad for saying this, but
Maybe, only maybe. I just
no, okay, I have to choose my words carefully here because I don't want to say the wrong thing and not say something that I don't mean. But this kind of goes back to the casting of Halle Bailey in the Little Mermaid, the live action one. Because here's the thing. Halle Bailey's a great actress. Halle
Mhm,
Bailey's a great singer.
mhm.
But because of Disney's track record over the past like 15 years up to now, you can't help but think like maybe that's not the only reason she was cast. Like, because
yeah.
like you're saying, it does kind of feel like a hat on a hat. Now, that being said, I've actually seen because I've seen Wicked on Broadway twice touring, and one of the times I went, the actress was black, and to me, it made no difference whatsoever.
No, fair
Like
enough then.
because the character was acted well, and blah 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 blah.
I
But
I am the kind of person where that I don't I had
I
a
don't I don't
I don't care. I
the only
generally don't care.
The only time I care is when, and I don't even mean like a historically inspired movie. I mean when it is a historical movie where they're like it is taking place on this part of the world in this time, and this can be anything. This would be I always equate it to like casting Chris Hemsworth as Chaka Zulu if they
Mhm.
Yeah.
remade Zulu.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
No.
No, you're not gonna do that. No, yeah.
No. We stopped doing that a long time ago in Hollywood. Well, actually, not that long ago. Hollywood stopped doing that allegedly.
Yeah.
And then I remember Alexander.
Like my thing is drives me crazy is when they go out of their way in the narrative to justify it. So like in that Little Mermaid, oh now the movie takes place in the Caribbean.
Hmm.
Ironically, the least believable character in that movie for me was the White Prince. I was like, really, really, you can just go all the way? He has to be white.
But yeah, I just long story short, I just feel like the guy was shooting for being racist.
That tends to be the thing.
Oh,
People,
in the TikTok, I was like, okay,
Yeah, in
wait,
the
who's the racist?
TikTok.
there is
Well,
there is a
and
segment of the internet who just hates when people of color are and stuff.
they are, but here's the problem with that, though, not to get political on this super fun Halloween special. The problem is that the word racist has been bandied about so openly over the past, I'd say at least 8 years, if not 10. That
Oh,
what's up, dentist boy?
Merry Halloween, Christmas. I don't know.
Merry Halloween, Merry Halloween, one and all.
Main Halloween
Oh
to
my.
everyone.
You guys know? Do you want to hear a really Halloween story? I know I'm just bumping in. A really Halloween scary story. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
You know what a deep cleaning is?
Yeah.
Hardcore deep cleaning under the gum. That's what they did to me. That's the
Look,
scary
man,
shit.
I have my
Oh,
sympathies. I hate the dentist.
we're getting ready to go on a ride again.
My favorite bit about Haley's episode is where it cuts
That
to the solo frame.
that ruined it.
It's
I was
so
li-
funny.
I was listening to you guys meanwhile I was in the dentist, but I couldn't
Hey,
you
you
know.
have my sympathies. I have a not fun story about a dentist that's scary. I don't trust dentists because one scammed my mother when I was a child.
What do you mean?
When I was a kid, my mom took us to a dentist who convinced her that we needed fillings in all four corners of our mouths. So several thousands of dollars and trips to dentists later, they had drilled holes into all four corners of my mouth. And he had a ring where he would send people to his orthodontist friend. So he was trying to convince my mom that we needed braces. Hard cut. 5 years later, we're at another dentist who sees there's holes in my teeth and is like, "Why is there holes in your teeth?" And my mom's like, "Oh, the dentist said that you needed fillings. He had cavities." And the dentist was like, "No, you don't need any of these fillings." And you needed braces. No, you don't need braces. You
Yeah.
never need braces. So ever since then, I was like, "Oh, so he scammed my mother for thousands of dollars. Cool." So I don't trust dentists.
Well, so fun fact about that. So when I was very young, I had a small gap between my two front teeth. It was a very small gap, but I mean, it was a gap, like, but it was a
Yeah.
kid, right? Funny thing though, my dentist convinced my mother that the gap needed to be filled. So I had a procedure where that gap was, I forget what he did. I think he actually drilled into my gum and like moved the teeth over.
Mhm.
Yeah, but anyway, so fun fact though, I later find out when I had to have a tooth extracted, one of my wisdom teeth extracted. He's like, yeah, your two front teeth are like, they're not there yet, but they're in danger, which is why we need to take this tooth out. They're in danger of, colliding and shifting somehow. And I remembered that because I always, even when I was a kid, I thought that was super weird. I'm like, I've never heard of this happening before. And I just looked at the dent. I said, hey, doc, I got a really random question for you. And I told him about that. And he was like, that's a real shame because what probably would have happened is when your wisdom tooth came in, it would have closed the gap
It will just
and
push it.
yeah, it would have just pushed them together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's a fucking
Yeah,
bummer.
so you get so that's why that's how I always bring up dental care. That's why I feel particularly passionate about free dental care in Canada because yeah, one scammed my mother for several thousands of dollars.
So
There's
now
my
that we're
horror
talking
story for
about
Halloween.
the scary stories about dentists, I was around 8, probably, and they told me it's for time to get braces, and I went for the checkup thing, right? And
It's
this
like
is
the
the
bridge of
real
the
story. What I
Enterprise.
hate freaking dentists. I know what this is the story. What I hate dentists. So I went there, and they just make a whatever scanning, and it was a person that visited the school, right? So got all the clients from that school. I don't even remember, right? I was too young. The thing is, I went, they make the scan, and back in the day, I couldn't even hold a metal fork in my mouth. I was like, throwing up. I was a kid, right? So they couldn't do anything, so they sent me home, and they said, well, come next week. The next day, I go to the house, to my school, and some kid in my same class was sexual abusing that same dentist.
No.
So for a reason, I never went to that dentist again. Like years and years, I'm like, I'm not going. It's supposed to be me. Sorry, no, but I go like, I couldn't, and I was like scared from dentists.
So, fun fact, Justin, you might actually be aware of this movie. Anybody ever heard of a film called Dr. Giggles?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, so you know about Dr. Giggles.
I know Dr. Giggles. Yeah, of course I know Dr. Giggles.
He was a dentist. No. Because you never sent me the list.
Dude, I wasn't the dentist. I've been here like from one?
Yeah, that's true.
Dr. Giggles.
So he was a dentist, correct?
Yeah. He was a scientist, right?
He was some form of doctor because he kills his victims with medical instruments.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I don't know. I've never seen it. I was told about this movie, and it was explained in a horrid way, but it seems like a real classic, like awful horror B movie.
I mean,
without the charm.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes that gives it charm.
Well,
that just
kind of like
reminds
Jack
me.
Frost.
Okay, you guys know.
What does it remind you of?
The speed that is out. No. You guys know that, right? Well, the substance has been so claimed because got the best script in Cannes and the whatever brown bear from Berlin and whatever. 11 years ago, there was a similar movie that is called Teeth. You know, like the tooth, but the teeth.
Mhm.
And it's the story of a woman
Oh yeah.
that her vagina has teeth on it, and they're denominated the vagina dentata. So that's scary. That's a scary thing.
I've definitely heard of that movie.
I have not.
Yeah, it was.
I went through my upsetting. I went through my upsetting movie phase.
I saw it. I mean, the woman, she's like, I don't know, 19, and suddenly discovered that she got teeth in her thing. So somebody tried to abuse her sexually, and she literally chopped it and bite it to pieces. And that's like the horror story. And then it's like great. It's like a weird story, guys. German horror is really weird.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
European horror generally.
My jaws are like weird.
Ooh, that's like you're powering down.
Oh, but Haley, you were about to say something.
I was going to say that reminded me of Little Shop of Horror, where like the dentist kills people basically, or like inflicts so much pain on people. Do you know what I'm talking about? That
Bill Murray.
Yep.
Bill Murray enjoys it.
Yep, Bill Murray enjoys it.
I don't know why that brings to mind Sweeney Todd.
Because he killed people.
I think it's an awful movie, but yeah.
I like Sweeney Todd.
Really?
That was the first 18A rated, or I guess for you guys R-rated movie. For me, it's 18A. Yeah, I turned 18.
I get something with Tim Burton. I don't dislike his art, and I don't dislike his productions, but they're boring for me. I always fall asleep. Anything that Tim Burton is involved, I always fall asleep. Could be a TED Talk or a movie, I fall asleep.
It depends. I don't like his weird gothic shit, but I mean, my favorite Tim Burton movie is Big Fish. That's my easily my favorite Tim Burton movie.
And I love it. That's what I'm saying. But I fall asleep.
I mean, that movie. I think I got real emotional at the end. It's like, whoo, he turns into the big fish. I was like,
So,
No, yeah,
you guys have made like a top 10 of horror movies for today, or have you?
Oh, it depends. That was my
No.
question to Jake. Was like, what kind of horror movies are you talking? Like the nasty, awful shit, like the family friendly shit. The like.
Well, we don't do our five top ones. We all say our fifth, then our fourth, like that. Why we don't do that?
What criteria of legitimately like scary films?
Or just
Horror,
generally, like, what do we
horror and
watch during
terror in
Halloween?
general.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, because
Okay.
I have a top five of like movies that I find absolutely terrifying, but nobody's going to agree with me, but I can explain all of them, so this would be considered a hot
Yeah,
take.
there you go.
Um,
So why don't you start with your number five, Jake?
Oh, I don't know if they're in any particular order. Okay, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I've got my number five. I would say my number five is probably The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
heard this movie. I've heard it's upsetting.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's a really good movie,
Right.
and plus it has a line that's both profound and hilarious when the priest is in court. Just for those who don't know, The Exorcism of
Oh yeah.
Emily Rose tells the story of a girl. It's a la The Exorcist, but it's mostly the court case trying to decide if the priest is responsible for the negligent death of the aforementioned Emily Rose. But he's on the stand, and the attorney's cross-examining him, and it's a scene where he sees like a literal demon, and he's presumed to be Satan himself, right? But he doesn't come out and say it, but it's implied. And he was like, "And did that frighten you?" And the priest just goes, "It scared the hell out of me."
Hmm, interesting.
What about you, Haley? What is your number five that comes to your mind?
So five is the best or
Least.
the least?
The worst.
Worst?
The least, yeah.
Okay.
I mean the least. So they're like top five, but yeah, the least.
I would have to say Carrie 2.
Ooh,
Second Carrie?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not
it's not a bad
good.
one.
It's not good.
Interesting.
No, I say it's a bad movie, but the concept was good. I mean,
I didn't know there was a second
yeah,
one.
Hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
there's also a
Carrie.
TV
What
show.
Carrie 2, more blood.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What about you, Mr. Spock? That you're not Mr. Spock, but it's okay. Let's talk about your
Today I'm Spock. So okay, so I'm gonna just do like a top five of movies I go to every Halloween.
But can you do number five? So we're rotating. Top five.
number five. Number five for me,
Yeah.
Sinister. Sinister is like the movie. That movie scares the pants off of me every single time I watch it.
Which one is that, bro?
It's Sinister. It's Ethan Hawke, and he's a true crime writer.
Oh,
And he moves into the
okay,
house
okay,
of
yeah.
he finds the tapes, the Super 8 tapes, the Super 8
Yeah.
snuff films. Like when he's watching them and it's just silent. Like that is the only movie before I moved into where we live now, the final day, I was in like an empty basement. I was watching it with the lights off, and it creeped me out so bad. I had to get up and turn the lights back on. Like it freaks me out that bad. But it's a really genuinely unsettling movie.
Yeah, no, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. So I'm gonna go new wave with my number five. This is my time in my life that I was too sensitive. I don't know. It was a lot of changes in my life, but when I went and saw it, I actually got scared because it even has a touch of meta phantom ghost ish. Got a touch of reality and make me feel perturbed of living in America. And it will be the Black Phone. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie.
Mm-hmm.
The name sounds familiar.
The Black Phone. The Black Phone is a guy that kidnapped kids and put them in their basement, and he killed them and abuse them and kill them. So that's the reality part. But when this last kid get abducted and being put in the basement, there's a phone over there, obviously without a line, that he's able to talk to the previous victims and help them to escape. To stop the horror. So it was really scary for me because, like I say, 80% of the movie is real. It's a guy that kidnapped kids, right, in America. So it was scary for me. Yeah, that's my number five. Jakey boy, number four.
Trying to come up with five in total because I've got my top two. Oh, you know what? Number four for me, this will probably be the hottest take. Number four for me is probably Brightburn.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Damn,
It's
which
not.
one is that, bro?
So it's basically like the Superman origin story, but if he was bad. And here's the thing,
Yeah.
it's not scary in like the traditional horror sense, but the
Yeah.
concept, if it were true,
There's
is the
some
most
brutal
terrifying of,
kills.
well, it's not just that, because spoiler alert for Brightburn, by the end of the movie, the only person that actually knows how to hurt him, much less kill him, is dead.
Yeah.
There's literally no hope.
Man, yeah, the when he kills, it's he makes was it the uncle or the dad, where he makes it look like he's in a car crash by
The
having him.
dad. Oh no, it
Oh
was
man.
I think I can't remember now. But yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, I made the
For
boof.
for me, I made the brilliant decision to see it in Dolby Cinema. So the scene where he's crashing through one end of the house and taking people out and going through the other, the sound moves with the action. So I was like, this is awesome. It's terrifying, but it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that's why when James Gunn was like, "I'm doing Superman," I'm like, you know what? Gotta get Superman. Brightburn is like in a space where Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman, like the Zack Snyder idea of Superman exists. It's like, oh, it's a movie that's basically get Superman, but it's inverse. Yeah, it was very fascinating. Made by I think produced by Sean Gunn, I think.
I think
I haven't
so.
watched it. But what you say is something really cool, Jacob. Not because it's not a horror movie, that doesn't mean that it's not terrifying if it was reality. When
I
I
think
watch
it
a movie, I
is.
try
I
to
think
put
it is
myself in
technically.
the
Yeah, I think it is
but
technically
you
a
know what
horror
I
movie, but yeah.
but you know what I mean. Haley, do you have a number 4?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say Exorcist. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just there for me.
I think it's due for a
Yeah,
remake, honestly.
no, I mean the original one was really scary when I saw it the
But it's
first
not
time.
now. But it's not now.
I
And
was gonna
I
watch it for the show, and I just didn't get to it.
yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time, but because yeah, the special effects, they're like they probably suck. Not for that. No, but it's a good
Soup.
movie to watch. If you
I
never seen
mean,
that, it's a good movie to watch.
the second Exorcist is even worse.
Yeah, no, the second and the third are really bad. The new one with Russell Crowe is like one of the worst movies I ever seen.
Yeah, I've never. For me, the scariest thing to come out of The Exorcist is Linda Blair hosted a show that I'm not sure if any of you guys have seen called Scariest Places on Earth.
Heard of
For
it.
whatever reason, when I was a kid, I was like 12. It scared the pants off of me for some reason.
So number 4, Mr. Spock. Dr. Spock.
I think I'm gonna
Spock. Whatever version you are, Spock.
I think I've got to represent the slasher genre here and talk about my favorite slasher flick. It's funny because she mentioned Carrie too. I'm gonna mention Friday the 13th Part 7, which I think is my favorite Jason movie because it's okay. Jason versus Carrie. The basic plot of it is there's a psychic girl who goes to Camp Crystal Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
not literally.
No, not literally, but she's basically Carrie. She's like it was marketed as when they sold it in the 80s. It was marketed as, if you watch the trailer, it's Carrie versus Jason, and the climax is phenomenal. She's like throwing pipes and shit. It's got my favorite Jason death in it, Jason kill, which is.
So you mean that they were doing Jean Grey versus the Juggernaut?
Kind of, yeah, a little bit. That's kind of what this movie is. Yeah, it's really fun. It's like one of the later Friday the 13th movies. It's one of the better ones. It's not the worst one. That's still Part 9.
Cool.
But yeah, if you like Carrie, you should definitely watch it.
Following the path that Jake said, it's considered a horror movie, but putting myself in that situation is always what makes me be a fan of movies, right? I drive myself to that situation. I totally forgot the name. I'm with we talked about it last. Brad Pitt. World War Z. Sorry, World War Z.
Oh yeah.
That movie, like just thinking that I have to save my family, right? I'm not gonna be able to talk to you guys, right? Because I don't know what happened to you guys, or knowing that my girlfriend is in another country, or that you know what I mean. That's just putting myself in that situation, thinking that McDonald's is never gonna be open. That will be bad. That's something that kills me.
They'll save McDonald's.
They will.
We'll say,
Yeah.
we'll save it all.
They will
The
save
end
McDonald's.
The end of the world, it'll be the cockroaches, the Twinkies, and McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, like in COVID, remember? Nobody could eat or work and everything was closed, but Costco and McDonald's was open.
Yeah, I can attest to McDonald's was open.
Not because of you, I'm gonna eat McDonald's. That's a good idea because we don't sell our sponsorship, but nobody can do it like McDonald's can.
Yeah.
It's not real meat. It's
Actually,
not real meat.
It
Actually,
is.
yeah, no,
Actually,
it is actually. It is that very much. Yeah.
They do that. They do that from a long time ago, Haley. They're not even in the top 10 worst fast.
Yeah, no, actually, if you legitimately look at the nutritional information, McDonald's in the scheme of fast food, don't get me wrong, it's not good for you, but compared to the most other fast food restaurants, it's actually pretty decent nutritionally speaking.
I'm not a fair
anymore.
comparison. I'm McDonald's Canada. We're different.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I like Wendy's better.
Somebody almost crushed me like that.
Oh, that's the Michigan coming out with your Pepsi and your Wendy's.
People can be so dumb.
Oh, by the way, Justin, I figured out why the blue is happening because it's only when I wear this shirt.
Really?
It's the camera trying to correct it. That's why the light works.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So, number 3, Jake.
Oh, Jake.
Because I'm illustrating a point. Watch me turn blue. It'll only take a few seconds.
All right.
Jake, you're number 3.
Is my number 3?
You're number 3 now. You
just didn't. You're number 3 now.
He just got hit. Nope, he's still there.
He's back. He's good. Okay, we're good.
Number 3.
No,
so
I'm here. I'm just ordering McDonald's.
Yeah. so my number 3, again, this might be a hot take, but as I will preface this with, I'm a jumper. Jump scares, I'm really bad about it. They get me every time.
Everyone.
The worst jump scare movie I ever saw. And parts of the movie are legitimately scary, but the remake of The Omen with Liev Schreiber. Oh my God! I got hit by every one of those damn jump scares. Every one. Every time.
Yeah, they get me every time.
So frustrating.
Even when I know they're coming.
I know. See, that's part of the reason why I don't like to watch horror movies is because the jump scares get me the vast majority of the time, and it becomes frustrating. Because in a movie like The Omen, where they're very frequent, it's just like, I'm done. I don't want to. Oh, damn it.
Here's what I will say about that, though. Me and Jordan talked about this on our podcast. I actually turned it into a short. But when you watch enough of those movies, though, you start to be able to time them by your watch, where you're like, and boom goes the dynamite. There it is.
I know that doesn't help me.
Really? Oh, fair enough.
They still get me. Because the music cues are there too, and they're really starting to piss me off because they're starting to just do away with the music, which makes it 1,000 times worse. Because the music used to at least give you a cue.
Yeah. Now it's a long silence.
That's one of the many reasons why my number 1 pick is my number 1 pick, because they did that. It's just dead silence the whole scene, and you're just like,
fair.
So who's
guys?
second?
YF77.
I think Haley's number 3 next.
Yeah, number 3, Haley.
Okay, my number 3.
Puppet Master.
No, I've never seen it.
Oh, Puppet Master's a delight. It's not scary, but it's a delight.
I guess my number 3 would have to be Blood and Honey. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Blood and Honey.
You're just going for the worst horror movies.
Sorry? It's a bubble order? Yeah.
Like I said, it's just there for me. It's not good, not bad. It's terrible, but also I can still watch it.
I watched that one for the show. I hated every second of it. I didn't think any of the kills were creative. It looked cheap as shit. The story was bad. I thought the movie was horrid.
Which one?
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
I never watched it.
It's real bad. Real bad.
Oh, bother.
No, he doesn't even talk. He doesn't say. He says. He says like one line.
In the
whole
second
movie.
one, he does say the last line of the movie was "Oh bother."
Oh, in the first one, he does say one line where he asks Christopher Robin asks him why he's doing this, and he says something to the effect of "You
the
left."
The guy in McDonald's is dressed like Jason. Yeah, but I don't need it. I'm delicate. Okay.
I'm delicate.
You guys saw that?
No.
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 Oh, the guy at McDonald's, everyone is like dressed up and.
Should have asked him what his favorite Friday the 13th movie was. What's your favorite? Nice. If he says Part 9, throw coffee in his face.
You'd have to order.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That was a joke. George just whispered, "He's not kidding."
So my number. What number is number 3?
Number 3.
Number 3.
Ooh, that's gonna be tough. I don't know. Number 3, I'm gonna go with something. The Conjurer. The Conjurer. That's the name.
Conjuring. I watched that one for the.
You don't like it, Jake?
No, because I don't like grifters, and those people are fucking grifters. Like
they never took money from nobody. Nobody paid them. They do it for free for the research.
I mean, they made a shit ton of money,
and then they made a shit ton of money.
They made a shit ton of money on that movie.
They were marketing geniuses, but never grifters.
Well, I mean, but no, and actually, no, that's not true. They do take people's money. They got that fucking museum.
They took money. I'm just fucking with you. They were grifters.
No, but you're right though. I don't think they ever charged anyone for their services, but they've got a museum.
They made money on the movie. Right?
Oh yeah, they made money on them. They made that fat cash on the movie.
Like they consulted on the movie.
And I will say this. Oh, sorry. I mean, I heard. Yeah, I did. I ended up seeing the first Conjuring. It wasn't my first one, and I will admit, from a horror movie, it's a good movie, but the movies get laughably bad as it goes down. The last one I saw was The Nun, and
yeah, the whole universe is weird, bro. The whole universe is weird.
I have to share this though because I actually had people laughing in the theater, is because that movie is so unbelievable. Everyone in that movie is an idiot because it's like they established that. The evil spirit is stuck inside the church, and I'm like, okay, leave.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Roll credits. And then I'm towards like that got some chuckles. Do what?
The guys, everyone is dressed like I say in McDonald's. Sorry to interrupt, but the guy that is delivering the food outside is extremely scary. You guys gotta see it. Seriously, I gotta share this with the audience. Like seriously, because it's scary as F.
Let's find some for McDonald's to play.
So I'm live in a podcast. Do you wanna say hi? Hi people. Thank you, bro. That's cool, right?
It is an upsetting looking clown mask.
But no, I know, but you know what? Imagine that you're waiting for your food and that guy arrives.
Somebody should have been Art. That would have been funny.
The upsetting thing with Art is when I see him in videos with kids.
Yeah.
That's when I'm like,
No, you're fine. And then by the time, spoiler alert from The Nun, but I highly recommend you not see it because it's a bad movie. The end of the movie happens because in this church, this random church in the middle of France, of all places, the literal blood of Christ exists, like the blood of Jesus Christ. And if there's anything that can beat Satan, it's the literal blood of Christ. And at the end of the movie, the nun, the trainee nun, takes the blood of Christ, puts it in her mouth, and spits it into the demon's face. And that demon somehow lives. So the end of that movie suggests that Catholicism is bullshit.
Fascinating.
I said, well, no, I said in the theater out loud, I was like, clearly these people know nothing about Catholicism, and I'm not even a Catholic, so.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? My thing with.
Weird, man. It's weird.
As horror movies, that was the one where I was kind of like, it was like my third, fourth like one of those in a row, and I started to be able to be like, the movie's real quiet. Something's gonna go bang.
Why did they stay?
Because narratively the movie's like it'll just follow you, so there's no point in leaving.
But it can't leave the church though. They say
this. So I think he said The Conjuring.
No, The Nun. I'm talking about The Nun.
The Nun, I've only seen it once.
He jumped into The Nun after my Conjuring. The reality is, The Conjuring as a movie, that, like, personally, The Nun or Annabelle, I don't like them. But The Conjuring trilogy, or whatever, it's 3 or 4, I don't remember. They're good. They're good. It's, putting aside the grifter part that I agree with you, Jake, I kind of like them. The actors are really good. That woman, even she focused on that. She was discovered in the movie The Departed, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Vera
Farmiga. Yeah. I always think I always see Night Owl. Whenever I see that guy.
Yeah. Me and Jordan always confused them and the Insidious movies, because I was like I can never figure out why, and then I saw, I was like, yeah, it's because I forget, I think it's Rose Byrne is the wife in those movies, and I'm like, that's because they look exactly the same.
Well, they're both from the same franchise, right? They're the same.
No,
universe,
it's a different
right?
franchise.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, there you go. That's how fun I am of everything. So we go for number 2, Jakey boy.
I didn't do number 3.
Okay, I'm totally lost because McDonald's does that to you. So where are we?
Number 3 still, but for Justin.
Justin and then. Okay, cool. No, Haley already went. He skipped over me and did.
That's right. She did. She did Blood and Honey. Gotcha.
My number 3. I guess I'll just go for the movies that like upset or scare me. So my number 3 is Mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh my God, that's no one, bro. It was a surprising twist at the end, and I like that.
Yeah,
wow, that brings a lot of things back.
That was one. That was one of the first real like scary. I included it because Jake had mentioned jump scares. That movie jump scared me and Jordan so bad. We watched that when in theaters. There's so many bad jump scares. Like we were looking over our shoulders into mirrors for like the next day. Like it scared the pants off of us. And it's bloody and it's nasty, and it's a spooky horror movie.
I think we lost him.
Wow.
Oh no, there he is. Jump scare.
Yeah, there's a really upsetting moment where Amy Smart like rips her jaw open. Yeah, no, really, real upsetting.
I guess I go for my number 3, correct? My number 3. That's my number 3 now. I'm totally lost in the order.
No, you did number 3 instead of me. So now the order. Now it's Jake.
Okay, so now for number 2.
Now we're back.
Okay,
no problem. I got you.
My number 2, and really my number 1's my only real solid. Like this is my number 1. Everything else is kind of on a scale. Drag Me to Hell, specifically the ending.
That movie.
I like it, specifically the ending.
You got out for me.
What?
Oh, Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah,
Drag Me to Hell. That's Sam Raimi, right?
Yeah. Specifically the end. Although the movie's good, but I from a storytelling perspective, I love the rug being pulled out at the end. But as far as being scary, my biggest thing is a hopeless situation where there is no way out. There is no way out of this calamity. That to me is truly fucking horrifying. And when I tell you my number 1, that'll make even more sense.
Yeah. What about you, Haley?
See, my number 2, it's like a tie. Okay, I couldn't. For like the last couple of minutes, I've been trying to figure out which one goes where. But so I'm gonna just say my number 2 is the original Carrie.
So good.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah,
it's also on my list.
I saw it probably a few months back, and yeah, it was scary. I mean, not super scary, but it's scary at least.
But the original or the remake?
The original, and then I saw the remake. I saw them together, like one back to back, and the original is better.
I think I've seen the remake. I don't think I've seen the original.
So my costume is here, guys. Because I'm supposed to be here early. I ordered my costume and everything. But
as long as your costume's not naked guy, we're good.
Oh, he was naked guy from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, the naked man. Well, then that's acceptable, but you have to do the pose.
Yeah. Captain Morgan.
I guess my turn or it's Spock's turn.
I think technically the original order was me and then you, but
it doesn't matter.
Oh, you go ahead. I put this on.
Okay. Well, okay. My last two are just here's the thing. Okay. I don't get like stuff like ghosts and stuff don't really scare me. So like The Conjuring doesn't scare me because I don't believe in that stuff. Demons, all that don't scare me. What scares me is when something can actually possibly happen. So the Hostel was legitimately upsetting to me because that's a legit fear of mine of like being swindled by some like nice seeming European guy. Like that is a legit fear of mine. So like that movie really like awakened something in me where I was like the second one in particular, that week was a week of upsetting movies. But like that was one of the few times I had to be like, please stop. I almost fast forwarded it through it. That's how like, please just stop. Like those movies are upsetting. And not that I think it could happen, but like, yeah, the idea of being stranded without your wallet, missing your kidneys, any,
Was that a Snuggie?
It's the Snuggiest Iron Man. Oh, I don't know.
It looks like a Snuggie.
Yeah, it's like a full poncho.
It looks very comfortable, but it's also making your head look huge.
My head is
okay, I don't know why. It's the proportions of the thing. It makes
If I got $1 for every time I hear that, I'll have $1.
But you look great.
I was waiting for the eye roll from Haley. I knew it was coming.
It makes his head huge, so huge, in fact, to the extent of it's like a bobblehead.
Of course, I'm a bobblehead. My ego and I'm Virus Vox. What do you expect?
This guy's a gangster. His real name's Clarence.
Look, it looks good.
I wasn't disagreeing with you.
Thank you.
Don't watch the Hostel movies. Haley, have you seen the Hostel movies?
No.
Don't watch the Hostel.
Have you
seen the Hostel movies?
I've seen the first one, and that was
really.
That's all I wanted. No, I was done. I was good.
Based upon how I know you, why? I watched it for a show. Why did you watch it voluntarily?
Morbid curiosity, and it was much later. It was way after that. I think they had multiple parts had come out.
I watched the first one, the second one, and Cabin Fever, and my entire bit is Eli Roth is disgusting.
Well, I watched Hostel for the same reason I had seen a Serbian film, just to see if it was true. It was true. And
I wasn't gonna put that on my list, but that probably still to this day is the most upsetting movie I've probably ever seen.
It's bad.
Well, the most upsetting movie I've ever seen is a short film I won't describe, but
Yeah, I will say this, that a Serbian film is much more upsetting than Hostel, but they're in the same sort of vein.
Yeah, well, I went through. I mean, I talked about it on one of your other podcasts. I went through a exploitation phase. So like I've seen the I Spit on Your Grave remake. I've seen some upsetting stuff. So like you go back all the way back to the beginning about the Terrifier movies. Those don't really crack my. A Serbian film is probably more disturbing than the. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't talk about that movie.
Yeah.
So my number 2 scary movie is getting tough for me. You know what? I'm just gonna put it there because I think nobody's giving it the honor that deserves, because it was released before Halloween, because people are not supporting Nicolas Cage as a horror actor. But Long Legs is a really good movie. It went to my top 5 from nowhere. I wasn't expecting it to be a good movie, because it's a little merge between The Silence of the Lamb with a new twist. So I really like it. Long Legs, the new.
You're not the first person to recommend it to me.
You didn't like it?
No, you're not. You're not the first person to recommend it to me.
No, me neither. I've heard of it.
So, did you watch it, Jake, or didn't have the chance?
I'm not seen it, but I'm aware of it. And
is it gross?
More than gross, it's realistic.
Okay, that's good to know.
So you can be afraid of a ghost or not, depending on your beliefs. But a human that believes that is the devil is hard.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
Number one, Jakey boy.
That stuff isn't.
Did Haley get her number 2?
Yeah.
Is that Carrie? Okay.
Carrie.
Number 1, and I'm gonna preface because I think everybody's number 1's gonna have a bit of a story behind it. I don't enjoy horror movies. However, the reaction I had to this movie, because I did go and see it in a theater, I went on a date, and I don't regret going. But I actually said when I left, I said, I'm really glad I saw this movie because it was exceptional. It was very good. I will never watch this movie again.
Okay.
This is a one-time viewing. I appreciate it for the art form that it is. But it was not a pleasant experience to watch this movie. And that movie was Smile.
Oh, the first one or the second one?
I'm not watching the second one. I have no desire whatsoever to watch the second one. Nope. Nope.
See, now you've piqued my interest. Now I have to watch the first one. Is it really that upsetting?
A lot.
So here's the thing though. I've had a lot of people be like, it wasn't very good, and I'm like, what movie did you watch? Because this movie was fucking terrifying and upsetting on so many levels. And the way it makes you scared and stressed at the same time, which is a horrible state of mind to be in. It's not fun at all.
Really?
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing of horror movies, that they take me to that point. I mean, honestly,
if you like that, this movie does it extremely well, I will say. But that's what I'm saying. Why I'm really glad I watched it, because it's a great movie. It's such a good movie. But I did not enjoy the viewing experience. You know, it was not a pleasant time, but it's not supposed to be. But this goes back to the whole thing where the fact that by the end of this movie, because I don't want to spoil it, but it's a very much a hopeless film where there's no way you're going to win. It's not possible. And then they trick you and they think, and it's a believable way. It's conceptually believable how they can beat this thing. And it's also conceptually believable how nobody has thought of this up to this point, because there is a ticking clock element. So
realistically, what will we need for this happen to this podcast for you to go and watch number 2? Realistically,
a check for $5,000.
Okay, I'm not gonna give you a $5,000 check for that.
Exactly. So,
yeah. I mean, that's actually. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that wasn't really a high number. I thought I figured you'd be like
because
like
I don't.
$20,000.
No, because I don't. Well, because I'm being realistic too. Because like I'll be honest, I'd go watch it in the theater for $5,000.
This show, that was I was expecting. Realistically, that's what I expect.
What, 250,000? I mean, if you want to give me $250,000 to watch it, I will.
100 views of this episode for you to go and watch the Smile. That's a realistic thing.
No, because I don't want to watch this movie.
Well,
I'll watch it for you in your stead.
Thank you, kind sir.
The second one,
I'll go disguised as you.
When I went to go see City of Dreams, Max, that's when I saw the poster for Smile 2, and I literally went, "Oh God, no!"
Yeah,
more.
I've heard good things about it. Like I've heard good things about the first one.
It's very good. It's very good, very very good, and the advertising was genius for that movie.
And I've heard the guy can actually do that with his face. It's not like with makeup or CGI. Yeah, he can just do that.
Apparently. Yeah. I watched the short too, the short film that inspired it. I watched that as well, and that's also, thankfully, it's shorter, but it's also terrifying.
Yeah.
Sorry, who's next?
Something that
I think it's Haley. Haley gets to do her number one. It's Haley's turn.
All right. So mine actually does have a story, like Jake guessed. So mine number 1 is Cult of Chucky.
Ooh, that's
which one is that? Sorry,
Cult of Chucky.
Oh yeah, the Cult of Chucky. Yeah.
I quite like that one actually.
And I'll tell you why. Because this is like the first horror movie that at least that I've seen where they have someone in a wheelchair. Because if you remember, the woman in a wheelchair, like Chucky, like pushes down the stairs or something.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since I've seen that one. I quite like those ones though. Those are good.
I never seen a Chucky movie before.
So
Never seen a
I
Chucky movie?
enjoyed.
No.
What?
Never.
My,
I mean,
my
brother
thing with,
will love them, but for a reason, they skip my radar all the time.
my thing with Chucky is once you discover he's a guy, he just kind of becomes. I always make this joke, but it's just the truth. Once you discover he's a guy, he becomes decidedly less scary. Like I'm almost entirely positive I could drop kick him across the room without much difficulty.
The Chucky.
Like, I'm not a physically strong guy, but he's a doll of about this big. I just feel comfortable. Like if he came at me with a knife, I could just grab him and throw him. Maybe that's me being over.
Fire.
I mean, that's how the first movie ends. He gets melted. So.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
I love the Chucky TV series too.
I've heard it's really
heard
good,
it's
but it
good.
apparently
So
ends on
good.
a brutal cliffhanger. Apparently, the last season ends on a brutal cliffhanger, and then it got canceled.
I gotta say something about it. Wouldn't be that easy because he has a knife. And let me
Well,
just
I mean,
Kick
like
the
he's a
knife, then
doll
kick
of
the
about
doll.
that
My
big.
dog
I could kick it out of his hand.
my dog is this big, and I'm afraid to give him a cookie.
I will
okay,
say,
but here's the difference though. Steel toe boot, kick the knife, then kick the doll.
Kick him right in the face. Boom,
Yeah.
done. Just kind of like it's always like whenever you see, I saw one where it was like that. There was a bunch of horror icons, and one of them was John Kramer from the Jigsaw movies. And I always have to ask, is he? Am I fighting John Kramer, the guy? Because he's a cancer patient. I feel comfortable. I could physically overcome him. I feel comfortable. Sorry.
I just saw this like let me just ask you this. Does this make me like a psycho because
Yes.
there
Yes.
Probably.
shut up.
More than likely.
Yes.
Like because there's a specific Christmas episode in season 2 where Chucky like chainsaws this woman in half, and I'm just here laughing my ass off.
No.
Maybe
you're
not. It depends because there are some kills in movies that for whatever reason
satisfying.
well, not only that, sometimes they're just blatantly funny and they shouldn't be, but they are.
My two favorite Jason kills in Friday the 13th are he kills a guy with a weed whacker, which is objectively funny, and the one where he's just like whacking these girls in like a sleeping bag, and they're framed to be funny. Like there's just times where they're framed to be funny.
My barometer for that is if you play yakety sax over it and it's funny, then you're good.
Pretty much.
Because like literally after he solves like it's like it's done, like you just see it just slowly like go like that and just fall.
Ooh, that's surprising. Chucky stuff. Chucky never gets very very gory. Not the more recent stuff he did, but like old school Chucky never got very gory.
No, but the terrifying one though, is it Chucky? Is it the third one where he goes to the military school and he switches out and he switches out the paint ammo for live ammo? That's fucking terrifying if you think about it.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
Because it's like you're killing people widespread and nobody knows until it's far too late.
I might have to, because I've never seen Bride of Chucky or Seed of Chucky. I might have to like do those movies one day.
Her spiel a spiel in Barry Chucky about like how like you never like there's no man that like lifts a damn finger to wash a fucking dish.
She's great in those movies. Jennifer Tilly generally, like, she's an underrated comedic actress. She's very funny. She's doing a phenomenal job in that series. Yeah, that series is on my radar of stuff I want to watch for sure.
I want to apologize with you guys because in a point I'm like, but I'm so distracted. Is the freaking anesthesia that I still have from the dentist?
Makes sense. I think it's your number one.
No, it's your number one.
Me number one. Me number one. I mean, we talked about the earlier. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention like one of the more upset. Because like all the stuff that truly upset me or scared me, we can't talk about here and stay monetized. So I'm just gonna go for the first Terrifier movie because that movie scares me more than the other two because the other two they add in like spooky ghost shit to it. But the first one, he's just like a random psychopath in a clown costume, and like that happened to people. Like they were getting fucked with by people in a clown costume. You could get victimized by a creepy guy in a clown costume who wants to murder you. So like that element of it, and it's just a generally upsetting movie, violent, upsetting movie. One of the few times like I when it comes to violence, I'm normally cool, but yeah, every once in a while, for me, it's like eye stuff. Like when they do eye stuff, that's where I have to. But that was one of the few times where I had to be like, stop it, please, stop it. So yeah, anytime a movie makes me do that, I'm like,
I've looked the other way during some kill scenes in horror movies, generally speaking, like stuff like that,
yeah.
where they just linger a bit too long, and it's just kind of like
I watched Halloween 3, and yeah, there's a Halloween 3 and a couple of the Halloweens where they do like this, and it's I just please stop that. Like it's like
so.
my one thing.
So not to it's not really off topic, but not to take away Virus. I just have to share this story, which is why the Halloween franchise when I was much younger, the Halloween franchise terrified me for years, but it's because of this one thing. I was very young. I might have been 7 or 8. I was not very old. And we go to my grandparents' house, my grandfather's house of all places, and they older couple, so they generally speaking, they would have the TV on, but it would be on mute for some reason. It's just a thing that they did. But Halloween 2 just happened to be on, and I've never seen the Halloween films ever at that point. And it's the scene with the hot water.
Oh my god, yeah, yeah. Well, that
So
was really funny. I know exactly the scene you're talking about.
yeah, yeah. So I'm a small child in a room where my mother is talking with her father, very just normal conversation, and I'm just no context because there's no audio whatsoever, and I'm just watching this woman's face get melted off with boiling hot water with zero context of what's going on, and
Slowly dips her face into it.
and then I ended up watching the rest of the movie from that point on, and you can imagine how terrifying that is for a child with no context whatsoever, no idea what the story is.
Yes, I
Yeah,
can. Yeah.
the scene where the the scalpel gets shoved into the person's head very slowly,
Yeah.
it was not a pleasant experience. So for years, the Halloween franchise terrified me, and then I actually sat down and watched it, and I'm just like, this is kind of silly.
I will say, yeah, that kill in particular, because we obviously terrifying. So the next week we did these slasher movies, and me and Jordan joked that they were like it was like a nice lighthearted romp through the Friday the 13th movies. And so I got to that thing, and I was like, wow, like the first movie was like, oh, these kills are novel and cute. And I got to that one, I was like, wow, yeah, that is surprising. The Halloween movies get to like levels of like being surprisingly brutal. Like, wow, these are surprisingly brutal for their time. That kill in particular, it's like, ooh.
That's oh, thank you for taking that time so I could eat a little bit. Because I wasn't able to eat. It's 5:24, obviously. But I got a joke for you people. How a non-binary healer heals people.
It's an old joke, Virus.
Wow.
It's not an old joke. I told it to you.
It's an old joke. It's like 2 years old, man.
Oh, what,
I'll indulge you. I'll indulge you. How
do they do it, Virus?
How do they do it?
They slash them.
Hey. Oh, hold on, Justin. Let's give him a Thermian laugh.
My number one horror movie is extremely scary because just thinking about it will be the worst situation in life. Bad Bunny live from Puerto Rico. I'm just kidding.
I've heard it's terrifying.
It must be terrifying. No.
I've seen things.
You know what?
Things that no one should have seen.
He's a very bad bunny.
A Smile was gonna be possible my number 1 or 2, but then Jake talked about it, and then the thing is, I'm between the Texas Massacre, the one that Rob Zombie.
Oh, really? Okay.
Rob Zombie did that, the remake. He did the remake.
was fantastic. It was amazing directing. But I think I'm gonna know The Night of the Living Dead in black and white, the original movie at 3 a.m. in the morning when you're 12 years old in a black and white small TV because nobody wanted you to watch that movie and you steal the VCR back in the day, right? And you watch it, it's scary. When the body's in the second floor, you know, the fat guy, it's really scary. And the ending, realizing how bad the human beings are, that was tough.
Is that the one that Zack Snyder did the remake?
Yes. In a manner of speaking.
I heard it was good.
Well, ahead, Jake.
Yeah, we found this out. Because what did he call that? Was that... What?
Didn't he do a Dawn of the Dead remake?
Dawn of the Dead, yes.
Is that not the same thing?
Really fast the story, because I know you guys been in line forever, but let me tell you this story really fast. John Romero, with his two neighbors, decided to become movie makers in Pennsylvania. So these guys go and try to get Potier. What was the first name of Potier, the actor? Huge actor in the first African American actor that won an Academy Award.
Cindy Poitier.
Cindy Poitier. Cindy Poitier.
I guess he's coming to dinner. I know.
That's was similar to the original guy. So they decide to make a movie. They spend all their money, and I'm just making it really short. But they even realized how expensive it was to make a movie. So the three of them ask a loan in their own houses. The three of them. So they finish the movie, and the day that they're supposed to premiere in a small theater in Pennsylvania, they're driving, right? Because somebody gave them the chance. And spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, the black guy gets hit in the head by a human because they think he's another zombie. He's actually the only one that survives. The day before they released the movie, Martin Luther King got murdered. Mm-hmm. They were driving in the way when they listened to the thing and they said, we're done. Our houses, our life. They presented, nobody made the connection. And they said in this special documentary, nobody made the connection. And it became a cult movie. But because of their lack of experience, they never registered the movie. So that's why everyone is allowed to make a zombie movie without paying royalties. So they are not making a remake, The Dawn of the Dead. Yeah. They took the original idea. And they put George Romero as an homage to him. But nobody needs to pay royalties to do zombies movies.
Not specifically a remake, it's an homage. Gotcha. That makes sense.
All right. Well, I hate to be a buzzkill, everyone, but we must end the stream because I have another podcast to do.
Thank you, everyone. Sorry that I was so late. I promise you, it's just the dentist thing. It's just 3 more sessions to go. So they finish my other 2 quadrants. And I'll be good to go. Thank you, everyone. Happy Halloween.
Yes, thank you. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. I'm
Bye. 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 You're the best, guys. Bye.